So I start fishing around this dock, working my way around the marina dock. And this guy comes, walking down to the water really fast. He's like a big, aggressive, loudmouth type guy. I could already tell just by his demeanor. And he gets down there and goes, "Hey, there's no fishing around these boat docks down here." And I'm sort of like laughed a little bit. "So what are you talking about?" He goes, "These are off limits." He goes, "There's no fishing within 100 feet of these docks because it's a state law." And I go, "It's no state law that you keep." I said, "You don't have any right to keep people from fishing around these docks." I said, "This is a public body of water." I said, how do you justify, or what do you talk? How in the world do you take a public body of water and tell somebody you can't fish on that? "Oh, that's just there's been a law change and that's just the way it is, like that." I said, "Well, I never heard about that. I'm going to keep fishing." He goes, "You need to get out of here right now." He goes, "I'm going to call the sheriff and get you out of here." I said, "Fine, go call the sheriff, get him down here. I'll talk to him." And at this point, this guy was getting on my nerves, and I was not going to leave just out of spite at this point. So anyway, he goes back up, comes back down, and I don't even know if he called the sheriff or not. But anyway, he starts throwing rocks in the water around me, everywhere. And it's at this point I said, "Are you kidding me?" So I called the tournament director at the time, and I explained the situation. Bill Taylor, FLW Tier Director, and I explained the situation to Bill, and I said, "Bill, is there any law, do you know of any law about not being able to fish around these marina docks?" And he goes, "Well, not that I know of." He goes, "There's no law that we have or that I'm aware of." And I said, "Well, that's what I thought, So anyway, I got off the phone. I told the guy that. He goes, "There's no fishing around these docks." He goes, "This is illegal." He goes, "That sheriff's going to be down here any minute." The guy keeps throwing rocks around my boat. And I told him, I said, "You better hope that one of those rocks do not land or hit my boat." And he's followed me down the bank, throwing rocks in all around me. Finally, I just got to the point that this is ridiculous and left. Okay, so here's the bigger picture with that thing, what we're talking about, and how this all started. Number one is that these are public bodies of water that we fish on, and people have zero right to put a dock on a lake and then tell somebody they can't fish around that dock on a public body of water. You should be able to fish anywhere you want to. And if somebody hits your dock accidentally or whatever, that's just part of the deal about you putting a dock somewhere where it shouldn't be. That shouldn't be any anglers. It's like it's such a violation of a taxpayer right that somebody should be able to put a dock in and limit or tell some